Welcome back to another video. This is going to be running through my top 5 mental philosophies that get me to do what I want to do and keep me emotionally regulated throughout basically any situation. And my life perception has become so much more positive because of these things, and I feel like I can really gain control over my life again. So I will run through them and I'll show you them. First of all, ignore my eye. It just happened whilst I was training, so it's going to be like that for another 7 days. And the reason why my bed's not made is because of this guy. So ignore that. Mental philosophy number 1 is the 50-50 method. I've been using this for like 2 or 3 years now, and I promise you, it is so effective. And I'll teach you how to activate your brain to actually work with this 50-50 method. So basically, every single decision you make is an opportunity cost. And what that means is basically every single decision you make, you are sacrificing another decision because we have limited time. And when you are making these decisions, you have option A, for example. Let's make this hypothetical. So option A is going to the gym and option B is junk food and scrolling. You both do these for an hour and a half, let's say, in this situation. And if you do the gym, option A, it's negative. The reason why is because it doesn't feel enjoyable in the moment. However, the results, the byproduct is positive. It is equally as bad as it is good. And the bad being the pain, the effort, the strain, the annoyance of doing the gym. And the good is the better sleep, mental health, brain health, physical health, confidence, everything, better life perception, endorphins running through your body. That's the byproduct of going through that really painful, annoying task. And that is why you get those benefits out of it, because it is as bad as it is good. Energy cannot be converted or destroyed. I kind of just look at it as in the law of the conservation of energy, and that I just convert it into a 50-50 method. And for the junk food and the scrolling, it's the same thing, but the other way around. It feels really good in the moment, and as a byproduct of that, all the backlashes are negative, and you end up feeling as good as you will feel bad in the future. So it feels good in that temporary hour and a half slot, but there's going to be a cumulative effect where you start to feel just as bad, the opposite. So let's say here's your middle line, and you feel that good, you will feel that bad after doing the decision. And during the gym, if you feel that bad whilst you're in the gym, you will feel that good long term after. It's the same equal way as it goes in as it goes out. So think of it like that. And also it has the and what's also equal to doing the act is the negative drawbacks of doing it, is that you'll have worse physical health, mental health, sleep, dopamine, neurotransmitter regulation, mood, all of that stuff. And that's what the negative byproduct of doing something that feels so good is. So understand that foundational concept and getting the prefrontal cortex to activate to make this decision. Because the reason why you're probably thinking, well, why don't I make that decision anyway? Why don't I just do that and see the results? Is because your prefrontal cortex is not being activated enough. And to activate it, you need to basically splash your face with cold water, do 20 push-ups or star jumps, whatever you're physically capable of, and then go on a walk for 5 to 10 minutes. I promise you, you will change your decision after this. So try that, and you'll start to see you're not just looking at decisions based on the action. You are now looking at decisions based on the result. You are acting on decisions based on what they give you rather than what it feels like in the moment. And that's how you activate the prefrontal cortex. It's your long-term decision maker. It makes the better decisions. And when that's deactivated, you start doing the more addictive, short-term gratification actions. So that's number 1. 2, I need you to conceptually understand neuroscientifically that your perception of life, of how you see things, how you react to situations that occur, how you view the world and yourself, is a habit. It's you can change it, you can reprogram it, you can reprogram your behavior in every way possible in the way you see the world. You just need to understand that to start off with. So now, every single negative thing that happens to you, every single problem you have, change it from why is this problem happening to me, to how can I allow this problem to teach me and build me? How can I basically build myself and teach myself from this? that changes the entire perception of the problem with that one question from the other question, because you've now changed it from this pessimistic, I'm out of control, I can't do anything about it, this is so negative, to, oh wow, this is basically like going to the gym. I'm going to do something negative in the moment and I'm going to have that positive effect after, which is me overcoming this problem and getting stronger and getting built and forged by it to do better in the future and be able to face harder problems in the future easier than I would if I was just spending my life avoiding them all. Because you do have to understand and accept that you will always have problems. No matter how big or small, you will always get them. And it's not about building a life to avoid these problems. It's about building a system mentally to be able to take these problems on properly, to make yourself benefit and build from them. That's the way you've got to tweak your perception in a more realistic way of looking at things, instead of running away from them all the time. There's negative emotions, there's bad situations, there's bad feelings, there's bad habits, financial problems. These are all problems that you can either choose to stay away and hide away and run away from, or you can face them and build from them. So when you understand that there are benefits to overcoming that problem, it's more motivating to actually go ahead with them. So start changing your and challenge your perception. The main part of this is when you have a bad thought about something, or bad thoughts just come up about yourself or other situations or other people, ask yourself, is this fair? Is this rational? And is this going to build me? Is this actually going to help me out here? Or am I just going in my old wiring that is based on my past beliefs, which aren't objectively true? Challenge the thoughts that come in your head and then observe them, sit with them, and replace them with something positive. That's the key here. I keep having to restart loads of these clips because I keep running out of storage. I really do need to get that new iPhone, because apparently it's got like 2 terabytes, like the iPhone 17 has got like 2 terabytes of data, so I really need that, and the camera quality will be better, so you guys can stop whining about how bad my quality is sometimes. Number 3 is momentum. When you have momentum, you will not find tasks hard. The same task that you found hard at the start is no longer hard because you had momentum. Where does momentum come from? Well, your dopamine resets at night. So if you have a bad nighttime routine and a bad morning routine, you will not be able to do anything productive throughout the day. And, well, to a degree. But what I'm trying to say is that if you don't regulate your dopamine, which is responsible for your motivation and your actions, then you are not going to be able to do the tasks. You get so frustrated with yourself, like, why am I not doing it? It's because you're ruining the neurotransmitters that are supposed to motivate you to get you to do that. So stop blaming you in the moment and blame your choices in the morning and that morning routine and that nighttime routine you have. That's the most important thing to stay disciplined, is that if you have those as bad, your actions will be as well. So fix that, and you'll start to notice that all the tasks become so much easier because your dopamine is there to help you. Momentum is so important. Your morning routine will reflect how you perform through the day, and so will your nighttime routine for the next coming day. So understand that, maximize your sleep quality, and understand that this is all about momentum. You will not have that willpower to just consume short-term gratification all day and then just do what you were supposed to do. It doesn't work like that, because you're just going against your neurotransmitters. And at the end of the day, your body's doing the action, not your mind. So if you're not treating your brain well, it's not going to do what you want it to do. So start respecting that, and it will respect your wants and needs back. 4 is emotional regulation. This is understanding that your emotions do not last longer than 90 seconds, which basically means anything bad that happens to you, sit, observe, acknowledge the emotions, transfer the thought of something that hurts you into what it makes you feel like, and stop thinking of what hurts you and start thinking of how it's making you feel. Feel your body, the sensations running through it, let them arise, let them be there, because it won't last longer than 90 seconds. It's scientifically proven. They've ran loads of studies. Cortisol doesn't last in your blood any longer than that. So start thinking of that and get that in your head. You're probably thinking, well, you're totally wrong, actually, because I've had emotions that have lasted way longer than that. And I would say to that, it's because you have a habit of ruminating. You're allowing yourself to spiral and rethink the thought without processing it, which is why it's making you feel worse and worse and worse. When you have a bad habit of that, you're guaranteeing bad mental health. So if understanding that conceptually and practicing this will stop you from going down in those huge spirals. I've dealt with them personally in the past, not anymore, but that's when I was dealing with them, and I wish I knew that sooner, because it would have saved me from a lot of problems. So do take that on board. And on top of this, when you are having something negative happen to you, like someone rejecting you or saying something rude to you, understand that it's only lighting up things you believe about yourself already. If you feel like you are worthless, whether you actually have acknowledged that or not, when someone does something that insinuates that they might think... Sorry again, let me carry on. When someone does or says something that insinuates that you might be worthless in this example, it hurts only because it's reminding you of something you believe about yourself. For example, if you don't have blue hair and I say to you, I hate your blue hair, it doesn't hurt you at all. But it would hurt someone who has blue hair, who is a bit iffy about their worth and how they feel about their appearance. That's why it only requires you to believe it about yourself to be hurt by it. It's not about what they're saying, it's about what they're lighting up about your own beliefs. So it is in your control to not feel offended by something, but you do have to change what you believe about yourself, your own self-perception. So if you want to be a lot more secure and happy with yourself, stop being so rude and negative and believing so many negative things about yourself, because it stops you from moving past that part of you where you actually can just accept yourself and all the negative qualities about you. Number 5 is understanding that accepting your negative flaws will allow you to be so much less afraid of everything, and it will make you feel so much better about yourself in the long term. If you actually take time and dedicate time to do mental work to accept that you are the way you are, you look the way you look, you act the way that you act, although you can change a lot of these things to certain degrees, but the unchanged things is what I'm talking about, the things that you can't change. When you start to accept them, and accepting the things that you can change whilst working on them, you become, and this kind of leads from number 4, you become so self-accepting that you're just not worried about what anyone says to you. If you really want to stop caring about what anyone thinks, start caring only about what you think. And when you start to do that, you will actually end up giving yourself positive values about yourself. You will stop thinking, what does everyone else think of me, to be the judge of who you really are, and start thinking, what do I think of me, and make that positive. Make those positive thoughts, and accepting that you have negative thoughts, accepting that you'll always do negative things, you'll always, have these flaws about yourself, but accepting that, genuinely understanding truthfully that no one is perfect and your perception is genuinely just skewed. It's not realistic, and keep that in your mind. It's not realistic, meaning it's genuinely not real. It's not in your facet of reality to be so focused on the negatives about yourself and not accepting yourself, because everyone has unacceptable parts of them, and these can be inflated in your mind, not actually because of those negative qualities yourself, but about certain beliefs that you are unworthy, and you looking for evidence that you are by touching on flaws about yourself and bringing them to your awareness to make yourself feel worse. And instead of changing that, I feel worthy, when you start changing that thought process, that belief, you start seeing the positives in yourself and you stop seeing the negatives in yourself. This is me going off the whim, by the way, so I'm genuinely just kind of freestyling this whole thing. I have no structure. It's just over everything I've learned. So I'm putting this all together. I hope you enjoyed this video. I promise you, when you put these 5 things into practice in your life, you will have a positive change and a positive effect, and you will feel so much better, and you'll feel so much more driven and acclimatized to basically take on all of your goals. So have a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. If you got this far, I rate that heavily. I rate it a lot, and you're doing yourself a favor.